Hello everyone! Welcome back to my Dragon Quest VI 100% walkthrough. Today, Skyzo is with me, as he is every day. How you doing, Skyzo?
I'm doing well. Hello, YouTube.
Alright, so, let's go to the very last stone we have yet to unturn. The Castle Graceskull. Graceskull. Not to be confused with Grayskull. Graceskull. You got that, Skyzo?
So, Grace instead of Gray.
Yes.
Right.
The best part is, that's not even a pun that's that far away from the original translation. Originally, it was just called Castle Grace.
Okay. Sounds like a strange name, but sure.
Now then, we are going to use the golden pickaxe from Destiny Drop on this random spot here to reveal a hidden passage. There's supposed to be a whole bunch of cutscenes and dialogue and all that jazz that will show you where this is, but that takes a while, so I'm just gonna show you.
Okay, that's convenient.
Indeed it is.
So, I think, yeah, we'll be fighting a lot of bosses today. What can you tell, us about it?
That it will be very interesting, that, they will all have their own unique quirks, and we're going to see just how awesome Carver truly is. This is the episode where he starts doing nearly 4-digit damage.
I mean, that just sounds like you can do a solo playthrough of him, like I mentioned before.
Well, he can generate a lot of damage. The trouble would be whether or not he could survive the damage himself. He could against Gracchos, but that was partially Gracchos' fault just as much as it was Carver being strong.
So is he a glass cannon, Carver? I'm thinking he is.
No, it's just that the bosses hit hard.
Oh, so he's tanky on top of that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like Dragon Quest VI, I'm making it look easy, but it's actually one of the harder Dragon Quests in the series. Most guys grind a lot more than I do for levels and job class experience. It's just, I know a lot of the game's mechanics in depth, and I also know how the boss fights act.
Well, to me as more of an outsider, it seems like the difficulty peak is behind us, but we could be wrong with that.
There's another peak coming up.
Okay, that's exciting.
Anyways, what's happening in this set piece is these guys are afraid of Mortimer, the Dread Fiend, so they're going to summon Nocturnus, a stronger Dread Fiend, in order to beat up Mortimer.
So, what is a Dread Fiend?
It basically means the highest class of demon.
Okay. And this room is a training room.
What did you say?
This is a training room, it looks like.
Yep. So, what would happen here normally, is we do a whole bunch of running around, putting items in places and all that. The fiend would be summoned, but then, surprise, surprise, it turns out he's evil too, and he just decides to destroy the castle. And before he can do so completely, the captain of the guard manages to hide the armor. And that's how we'd know that's where the armor was when we got back outside here. Because it turns out that dream world that we were in is stuck in permanent limbo. The people experience their destruction over and over again, because Nocturnus is kind of a jerk.
imagining that we'll fight both Dread Fiends in this episode?
Nope.
One of them?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, Mortimer is the final boss. And Nocturnus is the post-game boss.
I'm assuming they're gonna be very hard then.
He is. They're both some of the hardest bosses in the game. I think harder than Murdaugh.
I'm looking forward to that, actually. Seems like a pretty good time.
Alright, and here's one of the most... Wait. Okay, it's not quite there yet. Oh, okay, I remember. We haven't given her the sword yet, but we just did. We could have given it to her at any time, it's just... She doesn't actually finish it until you've done everything else. So what I did was I waited before giving it to her so I could just talk to her immediately and get it.
Okay.
Also, check out this text.
Is that just a lot of typos? Oh. It's the end of the translation. So, we're not gonna be able to read anything from here?
Oh no, you are. They just forgot to take it out.
Wait, really? You just forgot about it?
I don't know, but I can tell you that the rest of the text afterward is translated. You can read it all.
That is strange, to say the least.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what they were thinking. Anyways, here we are. So, I think I'm gonna fast forward through a lot of the equipment setup. So I'm going to just tell you how everyone's equipped. Carver is equipped how you'd think he'd be, except instead of the Raging Ruby, which boosts his attack, I think he's gonna be wielding the Silver Bracelet instead. That'll boost his defense a little bit, because he's actually gonna be acting as our tank after this first boss fight. And by the way, I'm solving a puzzle here. That's... if you checked your legendary equipment, you'd know that the signs... I'll describe it in the description. But anyways, Rex is decked out in the legendary gear. Amos is on the meteorite bracer. He's a martial artist. It's doubling his agility. He's super fast. And he's also got the platinum mail and demon armor, so he can change his agility to 0 when needed. And Ashlyn, she's gonna die fairly quickly, but she's here as a second sap user, so that way we can beat this thing down even faster in this boss fight!
We're fighting the castle?
Yup.
What?
What? We're fighting a castle. What's wrong with this picture?
Just the whole castle. We're destroying it.
Not destroying it, we're just beating it up a little bit.
Yeah, just punch the castle.
Yeah. And you want to be sure to get as many saps on it as possible. And see, Ashlyn just died there. But this thing is eventually going to use something called Magic Barrier. Now right now, Carver has an 85% chance of hitting it with Knuckle Sandwich. But once it uses Magic Barrier, it's kind of complicated how that works, but basically it decreases the effect of all spells by 50%. And see, it just dodged Knuckle Sandwich anyway. But when it uses it, his chances of landing... Okay, you just used it, but his chances of landing it drop to 50%. And at that point, we'd want to just use Flying Knee, because it's effective against flying enemies. And Flying Knee is only a 1.5 times multiplier, but even so, you saw that Carver almost did 700 damage.
That is nuts. He does so much damage.
It is nuts. And, the other thing, the Sword of Ramirez, you can use it as an item to cast oomph on yourself. That doubles your attack stat. That's part of why Carver is doing so much damage, along with the fact that we negated all of the castle's defense.
I mean, I have no idea how this thing's still alive, to be honest. It's taking so much damage. How much HP does it have?
Around 2,000 to 3,000. The bosses start getting a lot more HP at around this point.
Even then, with that many multipliers, it's gonna do so much damage.
Yep. Now then, Ashlyn is dead, and even if she weren't, she's not going to be helpful for these next few fights anyway. A speedrun would carry her into the next fights just to take advantage of Magic Burst, but that introduces some risk to the strats that I don't think is really good for a walkthrough. So I'm going to have Millie come in instead. She's part of how we are guaranteed to survive these next few fights, as long as we survive the first turn of them.
Okay, so here we start the boss gauntlet, right?
In a few minutes.
Okay, I wonder when we'll be encountering the character with the blue hair. That's not the main character. Like, what's his name?
Terry.
Yeah, I wonder when we'll be finding him again.
You think you'll be fighting him?
No, finding him.
But finding him? Of course. That makes sense. And now, since Carver is going to take a mostly defensive role, we're going to give the Raging Ruby to Rex now. And we're going to get a Leaf of the World Tree. That's the Yggdrasil leaves that we got in the bonus episode of the remakes. The things that revive you to 100% HP. And the Super Nintendo version, this is the first time you can realistically get them. And we only have one right now.
Okay.
Alright. You ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
This is Duran, the ruler of Stormsgate Citadel.
So he's one of the demon fiends.
Yep, he's one of the Mortimer's top servants, and probably the only one that actually beats Murdaugh in raw power. Anyways, this killer machine, it attacks twice, and it does an absolutely obscene amount of damage. Like, a lot. So what we're going to do is we got 2 uppers on Carver, and we're going to have him use Forbearance. And what that does is it allows him to tank every attack. So if the killing machine targeted Amos, Carver would tank it instead. If he had targeted Millie, Carver would take it instead. If he targeted Rex, Carver would take it instead. That is the power of Forbearance.
Okay, so just like follow me from Pokemon.
Yeah. And the weakness of this killer machine is that, as insane as its attack stat is, like, we fully buffed Carver's defense as high as it can go, and he's still doing around 50 damage. Physical attacks are all it has. So once we can shut him down and get the Mystic Armor's regen working, and we heal him with the Staff of Ghent, which... Oh, I forgot to mention that. Amos has the Staff of Ghent since he's the fastest one in our party. He's the only one guaranteed to go before everyone. So he's in charge of healing duties.
So, I'm thinking that the turtle is not really a threat since we haven't mentioned it.
Yeah, it's the more defensive one. Sometimes it will take the blows for the killing machine, just like Carver is taking the blows for us. And that right there, I actually made a mistake by confusing it with the Star Fragment, or Lucida Shard. In the remakes, it can't run away like that, but in this version, a confused enemy can run away from the fight, which means I was low on HP walking into this next fight. Terry!
Oh, there he is.
Look at his sprite. You can really tell he's not going to be in our party.
Wait, we're just fighting him? Like that?
Yep. He sold his soul for more power.
Why does he have an overworld sprite?
I don't know. Like, the remakes fixed that. They gave him an actual unique sprite for this fight. But here, they just use his... Okay, enough with the pretenses. He's gonna join our party. And so he has the party sprite.
Oh. Also, why doesn't the Demon Fiend just fight with him right now? Wouldn't that be stronger?
It wouldn't be sporting. He's a very honorable demon. He actually says that.
Oh. Okay, interesting.
So, right now, he's testing your power. Now, this fight is actually pretty underwhelming. Terry only attacks once per turn, and most of them are melee attacks. So if you get buff on everyone, he can't do that much damage with most attacks. And even if he uses Kassab on people like he's been doing, we've got the parry defense glitch helping us out. And even if he wasn't, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because in the remakes, Kassab isn't guaranteed to land anyway. The one dangerous thing he can do, and the only reason we can't just shut him down with Forbearance again, is he can use Zap with his Thunderbolt Blade, which does around, I think, 70 to 90 damage to everyone. That is like the one thing he can do that's actually threatening. And that's it. Other than that, he's a pushover.
Now, I wonder if you use Forbearance, I wonder if he would take all the damage at once. Would he?
What did you say?
I wonder if you use Forbearance, if your character would take all the damage from Zap.
You can, but then Carver would die. Okay, so this one is very important. We need Carver to use Forbearance. We need Amos to heal preemptively with the Hela's armor on. And we need Millie to cast buff on Carver. And this is the scariest part, because if Duran uses his absolute strongest attack, Harvest Moon, which launches 4 melee attacks at everyone, and then all 4 of those hit Carver, and then he does another Harvest Moon and hits Carver again, he can kill him in a single round. That is very unlikely to happen, but it can happen. But once we are past the first turn, we have won the fight. We have literally just won. Just as well as if you sent out a Pikachu against a Golem. Do you know why?
Why?
Because, once again, Duran focuses mainly on melee attacks. He has one magic attack, the Wind Slash or Wind Sickles, but it's a single targeting attack. And even if he hits Carver twice with it, by the way, he can attack up to 2 times a round, he can't do enough damage to exceed his HP. Now, the other thing he has is Freezing Waves, which dispels all of your buffs. Normally it'd hit the whole party and set their stats back to square one, but it's only hitting Carver since he's using Forbearance. So what you do You equip the glass slippers on Millie so she's super slow and always goes last. You make sure Amos has the Hella's armor and always goes last. And you have Amos preemptively healing Carver every turn. And you have Millie preemptively buffing Carver every turn. And that will mean that between the regen of the Mystic Armor and the Staff of Ghent, he will always heal off every point of damage. And then while he's keeping him busy, Rex is constantly attacking him. So he's stun-locked, basically.
Okay, well, I'd like to point something out, and that's the Pikachu Golem analogy.
Yeah, I know, he has Surf.
Yeah, he has Surf.
You know what I
Can learn
mean.
it. It's so strange that the only reason Pikachu has Surf is because of a minigame back in Generation 1.
Indeed. Then again, Pokemon Yellow was strange in a lot of ways.
Like what?
It made a lot of tweaks at the start of the game. Like allows you to get all the starters and everything like that. But then it seems like it just changes to being the same as the base game after around Vermilion City or so.
Wait, I didn't know you could catch all the starters. Why can you do that?
What did you say?
You told me you could catch all the starters in Pokemon Yellow, but I didn't know that. How can you do that?
Yeah. What you do is you get a Pikachu from Professor Oak. You get a Bulbasaur from the lady in Cerulean City. You get a Charmander from the guy on Nugget Road, and then you get a Squirtle from Officer Jenny after you beat Surge. That's how you catch them.
I never realized that.
Anyways, this is Millie and Terry's tearful reunion. Terry originally wanted to get strong to help rescue his sister, but he became too obsessed and spent too long away from her, so he forgot his original reason for why he wanted to be stronger. So much so, he forgot what Millie looked like, and the two couldn't recognize each other when they looked at each other all the other times we met him. But they're happy now, so have a nice day and God bless everyone.
No, it's over already. Okay, I say that every time, but it's true. Well, see you, YouTube.
Bye.